Welcome to another day. It's week 7, day 2 of the TSA 9-week intermediate program on Boost Camp. You can get Boost Camp in the link in my description if you want to run this program. Things have been going pretty well for me inside the gym. Outside the gym, kind of a different story. Stress is kind of through the roof. Baby's due in about a week and a half. So we're in that mode of like, oh, any day now or 2 weeks from now. Also on top of that, if you've been following along, you know we've got to move. Our property's being sold out from underneath us. Totally fine, whatever, we'll figure it out. So we've got a lead on a place that we really like that hopefully will work out. Hopefully by the time the next vlog comes out, that will all be sorted. Today, it's deadlifts. The back half of this program includes top end work, like singles and doubles. On a deadlift, it's a single today at RPE 8. And then back down work is all doubles after that. So the only issue there is yesterday was my heavy squat day with also a single and then triples for our back down work. And the single was, I think, 255, 570 pounds approximately. And that moved like a 6.5. I'll show a video of that. I filmed that on my phone. The volume was a little bit more challenging, and I think on the last set of the volume, I kind of tweaked my hip or my back. You know, my hip's been hurting me for a little bit. So, deadlift, this whole program has kind of been wait and see, kind of hit or miss. So we're gonna take that approach again today. I would love to really rip like a huge single at RPE 8. You only get so many of these in programming, so you really wanna make them count, but I'd rather not do something crazy and injure myself, but part of me, because I know that I've got a break coming up from the gym, when I go on paternity leave to be with my daughter and my wife, I'm gonna try not to be in the gym for about a month, maybe more than that. So there's a part of my brain that's like, hey, go for broke right now, but I've got to take the long-term view. If my 2025 I got to set myself up for the best 2025 that I can have. And that my goals are 2 meets, and one of those meets being a national meet. I can't do anything now that's gonna jeopardize that. So, these are the balances that you have to make when choosing weight selection, which I think takes maturity in the gym. Like I think RPE at its peak is a really great system to use, but it takes a lot of maturity in the gym. Because a lot of people will see RPE 8 and say, nah, it's an RPE 10. We're gonna send it. We're gonna go for a new max, right? But it is, sub max. It's not an RPE 10. So I gotta take that into account. Last week I did a double at, I think 210 or 215, and it didn't feel good. Deadlift hasn't felt good in a while since my hip has been bothering me. I might have to switch back to sumo and see if that works a little bit better when I come back. Let's see what else to say. I mean, as always, thank you so much for watching these vlogs, man. It's been a comfort to me in a pretty tough time in my life, pretty stressful time in my life, to know that, I can just come in and talk to the void, but also to real human beings, and just kind of get through a workout. Because I'll tell you, I don't know if I would have been working out these last 2 weeks had I not had to continue to create content. Just because my life is kind of getting out of control, stress-wise, this has kind of become a comfort. So I really appreciate it. Appreciate all the new subscribers, all the growth on the channel. I know a lot of people always say this, but it really does mean a lot to me. So, okay, let me not wax poetic anymore. We're gonna get to it. I gotta do some warming up, and we're gonna wait and see type day. Also the weather today, much better. September now, so hopefully things are cooling off. All right, let's get to it. So one thing, I really like this program. I think this is one of the better powerlifting programs that I've done on Boost Camp. I want to do a powerlifting program tier list once I get through a lot of them. I've gotten through a ton of Boost Camp programs, but anyway, I'm off track. The one thing that I don't like is just the back-to-back primary squat and deadlift. Like, even from just doing like the bar, my low back is so fatigued from yesterday. So like, the first 2 days are primary squat, primary deadlift with bench press secondaries, and then you primary bench on the last day of the week. In my head, if I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, maybe I'm supposed to take a day off in between. I'm supposed to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that. But if I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday with the Wednesday gap, the way that I would do it is Monday primary squat, Tuesday secondary dead, because it has pause deadlifts as your secondary deadlift. Break Wednesday, primary Thursday, so that you go in without accumulating so much fatigue from the squat, and then Friday, primary bench. But everything else about this program I really like. I really like the volume prescriptions, I like the secondary movements, but it's just this one thing that just gets me, because I have not, and maybe it is a personal problem, I don't know, but I feel like most people, conventional wisdom would be, don't squat and deadlift primary back to back. Am I taking crazy pills? I don't know. It's just one of those things that's holding me back. But there are no perfect programs. I mean, I guess I could have manually moved the days around. See, maybe as we warm up more, my back will start to wake up. I mean, it feels fine. Feels fine. Stop complaining. Just do it. Do the work, you know? This is how I know I need a little bit of a break from training. All my music is just boring and stale now. That usually indicates that I need a reset. But if you guys have any tracks you can throw my way for recommendation, I would appreciate it. Need to reset the old playlist. All right, second warm up. Oh. Oof. It's going to be a battle today. We're up for it. Third warm up. You throw the belt on. Still feeling the back quite a bit. I don't know. I have no idea what my top set should be. Part of me thinks it should be 4 reds, but I just don't know if I can hack that today. It doesn't feel heavy, but it's just that feeling of, is a slight tug along my right hip, which is what normally happens. But it doesn't feel heavy at all. Like, it feels like I'm kind of on autopilot. So maybe I'm too aware of the pain. I don't know. I'm gonna throw a yellow on for the last warm up. Depending on how that feels, we might go 4 reds, or we'll go a blue and a black, just to get a single under our belt and move on to the volume. One last thing about these days back to back. This is kind of the danger or the downside of just getting programs online. It's got huge upside. Not as expensive as a coach, a lot more variety. You get to expose yourself to more schools of thought. Trust me, I love going through Boost Camp and picking programs and testing them. Like, that's part of why I love the sport so much. But if you're really, really serious about a competition or about breaking a certain number or just being the best you can be in the sport, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by not at least getting with a coach for a little bit. And I know that when I say this, it always sounds like an ad because I am a coach, but I'm not talking about getting with me. I'm talking about just getting with a person that you can talk these issues with. If I was with my coach and they programmed squat, deadlift back to back, I could be like, hey, this really is not working for me. By the time I get to deadlift, I'm not able to really express my strength because of carryover fatigue. Is there some way that we could reset the program or move some days around or whatever to allow me to better train within the context of the program. And a good coach will take that feedback and will move things around for you, or will help find a solution. Whereas if it's just a spreadsheet or an app that you're just looking at, you have to make those decisions. And if you're not as experienced in the gym, you may make the wrong decisions, or decisions that might not be as efficient or whatever. So I'm not trying to like shill for my coaching services, although I am a coach and I would love to work with you. But I'm just saying, like, there is power in a second brain. There is power in just like running ideas by qualified people. So I don't know, I'm kind of always in two minds, because I really do love the ability for Boost Camp to be more general and to reach more people and to be less cost. Like, that's a huge thing, like 1 month of coaching is basically a year's worth of Boost Camp premium. So if you got to find what's best for you. It's hard, but it's really not that serious. I say all that to say it's really not that serious. Just train hard, I will tell you right now, this weather is just rejuvenating me. I am sad that I'm taking a break in my favorite time to train. Fall in the garage gym. It's just the best time to train, man. Everything just feels better. I really do get my best work done between like October and March in terms of training. I just fatigue so much when I'm sweating like crazy. Whew. All right, just gonna go for a single, see where we're at. Ooh. Damn. Ooh, okay. Oh man, that one hurt a little bit more than I thought it was going to. Yikes. Oh man, that's frustrating. It always sucks to regress, from last week. But I think I'm gonna have to call it there. Oof, that one hurt. So I guess the volume will just be 3 reds. Oh, mercy. All right, well, the bill came due. I don't think it's an injury. It's just that overall fatigue is not allowing me to perform at my best. It's just every time, about midway up my shin, just feel this tightness in my hip. And I finish out the rep and it feels fine, but there's always this point of, even on the descent, where it just kind of seizes up, locks up on me. And then that's also causing me to overcompensate on the other side. So I don't know how many sets we'll do of this. It's just doubles. I just really want to keep at least a little bit of fitness up. I don't want to take it completely out, because I think I can, I did on the warm-ups when I did 3 reds, there wasn't any pain. Now that may crop up as I get more and more tired, but I want to keep the fitness. So there's something to be said about even when you have pain at the top end of a movement, or closer to the top end of a movement, or whatever your top end is, you can kind of walk that intensity back, find where there is no pain, and that way you can keep fitness up. Like if you remember when I hurt my ankle and I was squatting, I was still squatting with the safety bar and with way less weight, and now I'm back to where I was, because I didn't dip too low in injury management that I lost the fitness on the movement. So there's this balance. I'm a big fan of moving in pain-free ranges, even when you're injured. And that could be, a 5-pound dumbbell bench press, but you're still maintaining a little bit of fitness in the movement so that the climb back up after the injury is not as steep as if you just completely shut everything down and sat around for 2 months. So that's the balance with injury management that has really helped me and a lot of my clients in the past, because if you get injured and you never want to powerlift again, by all means, never do the movement again. That's totally fine. Switch to bodybuilding, switch to CrossFit, switch to whatever. Become a runner. I don't care. But if the goal is then to get back to being on the platform, you are doing yourself more of a disservice by detraining than you are with injury management. So that's the balance there. All right, we're gonna try for a double. It's fine. I'll take it. Doesn't feel great, but not that same level of pain at the top end. So try and do a couple more here. A bit of a weird angle here, but I kind of want to see what my back position looks like. So this is more so for me than for the vlog, but maybe you'll appreciate it. Yeah, each bend is getting a little bit more tedious. I don't know, man. Maybe just one more set. More painful than the last set, but not as painful as the top set. Pain is the wrong word. Discomfort. Just doesn't feel right. All right, last set. And then we'll move on to bench and some back accessories. You know, kind of just is what it is at this point. This block was not for deadlifting, I guess. This block was kind of for getting back on track with squats, which is fine. That's just, you know, we learned some valuable lessons about exercise sequencing. You know, my conventional pattern maybe is a little bit more detrimental to my overall training than my sumo. So, you know, I'm definitely going to compete sumo. So I should probably train sumo then, right? I just love the conventional, man. It just feels better. It feels more fun. Sumo's definitely easier for me, but ooh. Yeah, we definitely call it there. It's like that same spot every single time, right? Like midway up the shin. It didn't get any worse. So, you know, bench time. All right, before we get to the actual bench warm-ups, I want to show you what my go-to like pre-activation movement has been that I think has really helped my overall bench development, but also my tendon strength in my elbows and my external rotators. So it's kind of like the movement is very similar to a face pull, except you're not pulling, you're resisting in the opposite direction. So I've set it up so hopefully you can see, but it's a hybrid kind of press pull. So you want to get into your bench press arch, you come down, kind of allow the dumbbells to go behind your ears, and then you rotate and push back up. And I like to kind of sit in this position for a little bit and come back up. And just really open. Allow the scaps to kind of move. Allow the elbow to take a little bit of the brunt down here. And then press. And then what I do is just come down into a stretch. Just allow the dumbbells to kind of open my chest up. I extend them wider into like a fly position and then back. And then just kind of pulse, feel how the chest feels. And then a wide press, fly hybrid. Just to make sure the pecs are nice and stretched. And then that's it. And it doesn't have to be anything super extensive. Hopefully you could hear that. And the mic wasn't buried deep in my chest, but that's been really helping me. So, you know, maybe throw that in. If you're gonna throw that in, I would start very, very light. I started with like 5s and I moved my way up to 30s. But like the lighter the better, because it's more of a stretch tolerance type movement than it is a hypertrophy movement. Obviously it's a pre-activation movement for our bench press. So that would be the warning that I give you there, but it has really helped external rotators and elbow kind of get a little bit more just stronger, more tolerant. I think that and moving my grip out with squats has allowed me to, you know, combine squat and bench again without any pain. And that's when I talk about being able to train in a way that's going to give you your best results on the big three. being able to squat and bench back to back like that, the way that you will in competition, I think it's good to expose yourself to that pattern. So, all right, now we'll get under the bar. I might actually do a little bit of tricep activation, and then we'll get under the bar, but tricep pushdowns, just, sets of 20. All right, we kind of got a bridge day with bench. So it's a little bit lower volume, just 4 by 4, I think, at 140. Bench has been feeling really good, which is great. I mean, I think a lot of the volume that I did in a couple of previous programs is paying dividends. I feel more muscular in my upper body, and I feel more locked in technically with the bench than I have in a really, really long time. But I think that's, I did a lot of trap work and a lot of just upper back work that has really helped me kind of find a connection on the bench a little bit better. So, it's a combination of a lot of things, but I would say that's probably one of the bigger factors. So we'll go 1 red, yellow, you know the drill. All right, feeling good. Bench feels quite good. You may be asking yourself, Jonah, you just talked about squat and deadlift back to back being detrimental. How are you bench pressing, doing the same movement back to back? Isn't that also detrimental? I think in a lot of cases, maybe, but bench, for whatever reason, for a lot of people, is a movement that you can really increase the frequency on. Not everybody. Whatever I say is never applicable universally because there is so much individual difference. But I would say the majority of people can get away with a lot of bench press frequency as well as a lot of volume. One thing that has really helped me is moving from 2 bench press days to 3. Because when I talked about being more technically proficient and more technically sound, that extra rep practice has really helped me lock in each time that I press. I know exactly where to touch on the chest. I know exactly how to, press, extend the elbows, all that jazz. So I would say if you're struggling with bench and you're benching once a week, go to 2. If you're benching 2 times a week, go to 3 and see, it doesn't have to be the same thing. You're not hitting singles 3 times a week. But so my bench press right now is 3 by 6 after squats. Today is 5 by 4, kind of a bridge, a little bit lower volume or a little bit lower intensity. And then my top set and my back offs on Friday. So that's when I really push. So it's medium, light, heavy. Just a little, heuristic you can use if you're struggling with your bench. All right, we're gonna go 2 reds and then we'll go to the top set. This rack is so wobbly. Whatever. Also, I'm too far down the bench when I'm unracking. All right, time for the top set. 140. All right, you guys to get the judge's perspective here. First set. Probably film 1, 3, and 5. Although it seems a lot of you guys like the longer vlogs, so maybe I'll film all 5. Who knows? All right, get a little bit further up the bench. Not my best set, not my worst. I think I overcorrected and got a little too close under the bar. But also I'm losing a bit of leg drive. I think just fatigue from the squats yesterday. I'm not able to push legs as much. But I will say what's cool is I think this was the weight that I opened with. Or maybe this was my second attempt in my competition that I strained my lat on. If I'm remembering correctly, it might have been 145. But to be able to do this for 4 at like a RP7 is super fulfilling. I think I've put on 50 to 70 pounds on my bench. Now I am heavier, but still good progress. The goal now is cut down back to weight class, which is 120, and retain as much strength as possible. All right, second set coming up. Still wouldn't say that it's cool. As you can tell, I'm still sweating like crazy, but cooler. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit more leg involvement on this one. Just non-existent. It's just all chest today. That's fine. Honestly, they feel good. Like this is, I think 74% of my one rep. It doesn't really feel like it. So I will definitely take it, especially after the fatigue yesterday. What a treat, you're getting all the sets. Wow. Starting to feel a little bit of tightness in my elbow. It's like my elbow's traded back and forth because this time it's my left elbow. And it's normally my right elbow. It's probably because my left one was overcompensating when my right one was hurt. Ooh, yeah, definitely slowing down. Oh, 2 more sets. Yeah, I think we can make it, but I'm starting to feel a little bit of that. And bicep tendonitis. Oof. I want to experiment next block with like a deeper pause, like more of a sink, because I used to really like kind of even hover above my chest to get the press command. But I think if I sink, because I'm a bigger guy and I have a little bit of space, as long as I'm still like very honest with my pauses, I just find that I get a little bit more push off the chest. It might be psychological, but I'm kind of able to coil myself and then spring back up. I don't know, it's 50-50. I might try and test it out in the next block and see. I don't like to make changes intra-block because I want my weight progression to be as honest as possible. So we'll wait. I mean, that'll probably be a couple months from now. All right, I've officially run out of angles. So this is set 4. Might be the last one I film. Might be the last one I do, depending on how the elbow feels. I think this program's still maybe a touch more volume than I need or can recover from. If I were to run this one again, I feel like I'd have a lot more insight on how to make it work best for me. It's the value in repeating programs. Now we gotta do that last one. We gotta get to 5. I think it'll be fine. That first set is always weird, but then the elbow seems to acclimate to it. So we'll do one more. All over the place with that one. First rep, no pause. Bar path was messed up, but it got done. All right, some back accessories next. Pendlay Rows and giant set of lat pull downs. Whew. I'm tired and I'm getting hungry. Oh, we got one of my favorites, strengthening back movements. Maybe not the best for hypertrophy, but one that I have used a lot to get a lot of carryover to my deadlift. Pendlay row. The only difference here between a barbell row and a Pendlay row, dead stop off the floor. That, for me, mimics the deadlift to the point, like when I train the deadlift, pulling from a dead stop. So not only does it help build the upper back, which I think it does, you know, there's a lot of biohackers and biomechanic experts on Instagram that poo-poo any type of rowing for hypertrophy, which, you know, may be true in terms of stimulus to fatigue ratio and all that jazz. But for me, having to pull weight from a dead stop, regardless of positioning, helps me with my deadlift. So I like to keep these in, and I'm glad the program has them. So we got 105 here. It's between 4 and 6 reps, so pretty heavy rep range. Probably try and get to 6. Whew. I like to go about pinky on the ring for these. And again, always remembering that dead stop. Oh, I'm in a groove. Nice. Feels pretty good. All right, I'll film the last set. Lately, I don't know. Might be because I'm not sleeping well, or I'm just like overstressed or whatever, but I just burn out so much quicker in my sessions than I used to. I'm a little detrained with cardio too, so that might factor into it. But I just feel like after like 2 exercises, I'm cooked. So it's a struggle to get through the accessories, but we're making it. I like that. Take it. All right. Giant set. Pull-downs next. We've got our giant set next. This is our last exercise. If you're unfamiliar with a giant set, it's basically just doing a ton of reps in one giant set, as the name implies. So some rules that I kind of use is I go to about an RPE 8 or 9, my first bout of reps, whatever that is. I take about 3 to 5 breaths, and then I just go until I reach 35. I try and keep the break time like 5 total breaks and in between 3 and 5 reps throughout the whole set. But you know, this is the last exercise, so we're pretty fatigued. It's wide grip pull downs. Let's do it. Oh man, you never really get used to those. They always suck, but it's a great way to get in a lot of work in a short amount of time. Also, if you're not really sure, like if you're running RPE on your accessories and you're not really sure what your reps in reserve are, doing a giant set like this will really help, because that's 150, right? And I got 18 on the first bout at like an RPE 7 in my mind. True. So imagine I came in and it was like RPE 7, but it was 10 reps. And I was like, oh yeah, 150. I'm leaving gains on the table there. So exposing yourself to drop sets and giant sets like that, or just sets to failure, like true failure safely, is a great way to kind of keep yourself honest with RPE. So if you're struggling with weight selection on your accessories, throw in one of these sets and you'll see you're capable of a lot more than you think you are. Or maybe you'll find that you're right on track. All right, back in a second to wrap it up. Thanks so much for watching, hanging out with me today. It means a lot. There's a lot of content on YouTube. There's a lot of ways you can spend your time. It really is special to me that you choose to spend it with me. If you're training for something, leave it in the comments. Build that community, man. This is what this channel is all about. Getting stronger together. So if you got something coming up, or you're just trying to hit a PR, or you just want to build a habit of getting in the gym 2 days in a row, comment, get some support from our community. You can get some direct feedback in our Discord if you want to join that. You know, today was good. I'm not going to let my body kind of dictate the way that I feel mentally, I guess. You know, I'm going to have to workshop that phrasing because I don't think that really works. But just because I could not reach the potential that I wanted to reach today on deadlift specifically, doesn't mean that the rest of the workout had to be ruined. Really good bench session, some good accessory work here. You know, you can't let one movement ruin the rest of the training session, because then that training session turns into a bad training week. And then next thing you know, you're quitting, or you've lost the fire. And that happens every now and again, but just reset. Grab onto something positive, whether it's, you know, a good rep or just showing up. Grab onto something positive so that you can continue on the journey, because like I always say, powerlifting, bodybuilding, any type of these sports where you're fighting against your body's natural inclination to be lazy is a mental game. So you've got to really gain control over your mind and your thoughts. I think one thing that separates all of the top athletes in all those sports is just a grit and just a mental toughness that you don't often see, because it's hard to cultivate. So if you're struggling right now, just keep going, first and foremost, and you will reignite that passion, or you will find success, whatever that is defined for you, if you just keep pushing. You know, and that doesn't mean that you have to keep powerlifting. You know, you can switch to something. Just keep being physically active. That's the main message. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I will see you next week. Last vlog before 2025, I think, is next week, if I've got my dates correct. So that's exciting. It's been a great year. I really appreciate it. Get strong and stay strong.